Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. This is episode 9, I believe, and today we'll be talking about becoming. I don't know what that is just yet, but we're gonna find out, aren't we, folks? Um, we have another guest. She was there in season 1. Y'all really liked her episode. If you have not heard it, go back to season 1 and take a look at it. We have Kayla. Kayla is back. Kayla, how does it feel to be back?
I feel honored. Thank you.
Yes, she's
It feels
already
like an
confirmed for
honor.
season 3, so that's fun.
Oh wow, season 3, got it. Don't
Yes,
know where
yes,
I'll be, but Lord willing, I will do it.
yes. Um, Kayla, we've postponed this like 1,000
Way
times.
too many times. This is supposed to be recorded last year. We're at 2023, and
Right?
and I literally just texted you. Are we still doing this?
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anything.
Right? Like, we do not mind postponing. We do not mind postponing. Gosh, I know. It's hilarious. That was so funny. The other day, you're like, okay, let's do Friday instead. I was
It was
like,
like eight. You said
mood.
8:45 p.m. and I'm like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then it got closer. I'm like, I'm gonna be yawning on this podcast. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be energetic. I'm gonna sound half tired. No, let's just do it Friday.
Yeah. And here we are,
Here
Friday.
we are.
Oh, yes, Kayla. So, it's great to have you back on again. Um, I'm curious because I don't even know what becoming is going to entail.
Yes.
So, Kayla, what is becoming?
So I will kind of catch you up on life since we recorded in
Yes.
August. And so in August, I was at a global law firm, working, doing all the things, and slowly but surely, I was becoming unhappy with that job. It took a lot on me mentally, physically, and it
Hmm.
just wasn't healthy for me to be there
Right.
anymore. And so not only did that happen, but it caused me to reflect at what I was doing with life. I had already come to the point in the conclusion that you could not pay me enough money to
Hmm.
become a corporate lawyer. Like, you could not pay me to go back to law school unless Jesus himself comes and says, Kayla, go to law school. Like,
Right.
in a Morgan Freeman voice. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, no. And so I was already trying to get out of the legal field, and I had some few interviews with, like big oil and gas companies. And I was like, cool, oil and gas, like make that money, like whatever. Um, and so the interviews went well, but then there were hiring freezes and just so many different things that kept like, okay, why am I not getting out? Why am I not getting out? And I kept telling myself, I'm going to give it till the end of the year. I'm going to give it to the end of the year. And like,
Mm.
that just got worse and worse and worse. Like, I had already mentally checked out, like quiet quit. Like, I had mentally, like,
Quiet
I
quit.
stopped eating. Like, I would only eat once a day, if that. On Sundays, I would be so miserable because work was the next day. And
Mm.
so with that, I was like, okay, I can't do this any longer. So I quit my job in November,
Yes.
which I have responsibilities. So it wasn't what I would have wanted, but God was so gracious
Hmm.
in that moment. Like,
Right.
it really taught me how, like, to fully depend on him. Like, I could not have done that if I didn't
Yeah.
have the support system I have. And if I didn't have the faith I had to know, like, there's something better coming. Because before I quit, I actually had interviewed at a company, and they're
Hmm.
like, well, we can't bring anyone on until the beginning of next year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? But no, I'm a hustler. Like, I like to make money.
Yeah.
So I had a second job when I was still at the law firm. So I just went back there full time, until I found something. And so throughout this time, long story short, but throughout this time, I ended up just reevaluating what it is I was passionate about and what it is that I was doing with my life and where my life was going.
Hmm.
Because it's been a slow tug at my heart to say this. But I'm excited to finally like say it that I've decided like I wanted to go into ministry, like
Yes.
full-time ministry. Um, and gosh, it's wild to say it because I would never have thought that's what I would have been saying at 25 to
Right.
say, here I am, Lord, use me as a vessel. And so it has been wild. It has
Yeah.
been sometimes it's like, Lord, why? Like, what is it you want me? And it's like, he wants my heart, but it's like, what
Yeah.
else do you want? What is my purpose? My
Right.
purpose is for you to be a disciple and to love others and to draw others towards me.
Right.
And so luckily, I was already in school. I was getting my MBA, like just started getting my MBA. And I
Right.
was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, it's so funny, like the desires he removes and the desires he places in your life.
Yes.
Because
That's true.
I always wanted to be business girl. Like at one point, I remember crying to my mom. And I think I said this on the first podcast, like, I'm never going to have kids. I'm going to be the woman who works all the time. And now it's like the desire of motherhood, the desire to be present, and the desire, just all these different desires that the Lord just took away. And now
Yeah.
he's placed in me, and like
Yes.
the love he's given me for others, and just all these different, there's just so many emotions. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like the Grinch, help me, I'm feeling.
Yes.
But it's just so beautiful just to see like the heart I have for youth and young adults and just
Yes.
where the Lord is going. So I ended up switching my program to a Master's of Arts in Religion,
Yeah. Yeah.
with an emphasis in next generation ministry. So
Yes.
all that to say, big life change, a lot.
Yes.
But with big life change has also had to come preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's kind of where the idea of becoming comes from. Because am
Yes.
I becoming what I'm wanting to be, or am I
Right.
just trying to coast by until something else changes? So before you decide, like, hey, I want to be a lawyer, like you have to go to law school. Before I said I wanted to do ministry, I was doing ministry. And
Right.
it was like, oh, like this is what I'm doing. Like, I
Yeah.
love this.
Wait, I wanted to point out something. Two things. One, I am so proud of you. That is something huge. You were listening. You were also listening to your body when you said you're just drained mentally and physically. And a lot of times, I've been in the predicament, and I just learned last year. Um, I got to listen to me. I gotta listen because I found myself saying, "No, I'm just gonna finish my master's at Portland State University. I can do it," even though I was miserable in Portland. I was miserable, and I was not listening to my mental and physical, and oh, I paid the price. You know,
I will
I
say I paid the price weight rise too, because being miserable and being just stuck, all I wanted
yeah,
to do was eat. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to do the things that gave me
right.
life. And so physically, yeah, like I am, like I hate to do body image, but like I am at the heaviest, but now I'm also at the happiest I've also been because I left the
Ooh,
toxic environment.
yes. That's yeah. Oh yeah, I'm relating to that for sure, for sure. And for me, my eating disorder tanked. Like I went days without eating in Portland State University. Like I went days without eating, and I'm already like I'm already skinny, I think over there, I think I hit 99 pounds. I mean, now I'm 136, thank God. Um, but I had to listen to myself, because I was like my mental and my physical, I was completely ignoring it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I also am experiencing now, like, I feel like God is, and Jesus is like telling the universe to remove these desires in my life. And there have been some desires that I've been wanting for them to be removed. I just did not know how to let them go or release them. And was I even
Surrender.
ready to
All
do that?
surrender.
Yes, and so that's the thing. He did it for me because I feel like 2023, I'm going in it with a so much better mind, like so much, because like my desires was okay, like I'm gonna find I need to find a good godly man, you know, like I'm like he's gonna pray with me.
Yes.
I'm gonna pray for him, pray with him,
And
like
I'm glad you're leading in with this topic because let me tell
yes.
you, I'm 25, about to be 26, and
Mm-hmm.
I see it like all my friends are like in relationships and
Yes,
getting engaged, and like
everyone.
we're recording this in January, and I'm telling myself, so this is gonna be put out in the universe. So if it doesn't happen, like, okay. But I'm telling myself, in my humanity, don't want to date until March of this
Right,
year. Like,
right.
I am in an intentional single season
Mm-hmm.
because for me, that will make a year of just working on myself and healing, a year of
Yes.
celibacy, a year of just all these different things.
Yes.
But it's like the things that the Lord has done in this year are going to be so sacred to whatever
Yes.
relationship that comes when I open myself up and put myself out there
Yeah.
intentionally.
Right.
Gosh, don't
Right.
really want to do that, but like you got to
Right.
grow and get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, in this period of singleness, like one of the things I've learned is, yeah, like I'm praying for a godly man. I'm believing like God is going to grant me that desire to be in ministry, like leading Bible studies. Like I get
Yeah.
to look at my husband and say, like, this is what he did for us. Like, look what he can do for you. Like, I am believing for that. But
Right.
I'm also praying for my husband before we even get to that. I'm praying
Right.
for his heart. I'm praying for his character. I'm
Yeah.
praying God gives him the humility to say, it's not me. It was never me who chased you. It was never me but God. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm praying already that our testimony and like who we are as a couple brings people to God. But
Yeah.
before that, I'm doing the things that I already love. I'm, leading Bible study groups. I'm doing things that fill my cup up, and I'm pouring into myself so that I know, like, when that time comes, if I'm not going to do this stuff when I'm single and I have all the time in the world, I'm not going to do it when I'm dating, when
Right.
I'm married. So this has to become a priority in my life
Right.
now before
Right.
I get there. And so
Right.
that's also becoming like, am I becoming the wife I want to be to my husband?
Mm.
Yes. Like there's this book and it's on my nightstand, but it's like basically the prayers of a praying woman, and it gives you 30 prayers. And like I pray those over my husband intentionally. I write notes to him. Like there's going to be a journal I give to my husband on our wedding day that says, this is only for your eyes. Like, yes, I've talked about these issues within my community, like with my girls, but like males, no one else, no other males have ever read what's in here. This was
Right.
for you. These were my prayers to you as a single woman before I even long knew you existed. These are my prayers for you when I first met you, we were dating, when I realized that this was who God gave me for the rest of my life, when we got engaged, when we get married, like that is for you. These were the prayers that led me up to being a wife that I'm pouring into.
Right.
And so it's just like so many people, like we just want to say, I want to date. Okay, but you're a walking red flag. You don't know how to be alone. You don't know how to love others or let people love you. So like,
Right.
what do you have to offer besides leaving someone with an expensive therapy bill? You know?
Right. Right. Not
So
except that's so true. That is so true though. People be leaving people with that expensive therapy. Yep.
I've been the recipient of those bills too. So I know I can say that. But like, if I didn't have this season of singleness, if I didn't have this season of just intentionally pursuing myself, I would have
Yeah.
never known the depths of love I have to offer in a healthy way. Like I would just be looking for the next broken person and the next broken thing in the relationship that I would pursue. And like,
Right.
there comes a time you just get sick of chasing everything. You get sick of filling that void inside of you with, oh, well, I'm lonely. Let me go on Tinder, swipe whatever way it is, swipe
Mhm.
left, swipe right. I don't know. And it's boring. It's draining. Like, it's just
Yeah, it does
nothing to
drain that
offer.
energy. It
And then you
does.
repeat that cycle. And let me see if I can find it. But someone told me last week, let me see. Basically, if it's a pattern, it's a problem. If it's a pattern, you attract who you are, not what you want.
Say that again.
Someone told me if it's a pattern, it's a problem. If it's a pattern, you attract who you are, not what you want.
Explain that more.
So
Because I'm a little
basically,
confused at the last part.
it says like if it's a pattern, if you're habitually repeating and going towards the same guy, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a habit, like that's what you want. It's not who you attract. You're not attracting who you're
Mm.
praying for. Like you're not attracting your equivalent. You're going after the familiar. You're going after
Oh.
that same red flag, that same toxic trait, that
Mm-hmm.
same qualifying traits
Right.
that all guys that you're attracted to
Right.
all have
Right.
in common.
Yep.
That's a pattern.
Mm.
You're not naturally attracted to guys with red flags. You like the chase of the bad boy. You like the attention he doesn't give you. You like having to, oh my gosh, please, like, love me, love me, love me. You
Right.
like having to do those things. It's not
Right.
natural to, oh my gosh, like, like it's just, no, because if it was a friend, you wouldn't put up with it. But when it's a significant other, you're supposed to put up with it. No.
Right. Mm. Yeah. Something that I learned from Dr. Tabari was, are you treating yourself how you would want your significant other to treat you? And I was like, facts. That is the truth. So it's like I started doing that. Like when I'm about to have an anxiety attack, like before I take my anxiety med, I like hold my heart and I calm it down, and it's just like I would want a good godly man to do that for me.
Right.
Like dating myself. Like I would want him to take me out on to the movies. You know what I mean? So I would do that for myself. You know, I would want him to randomly check up on me. I would want him to randomly surprise me with things spontaneously. So I
Yeah.
do
And
that for
now
myself.
I will say the dating yourself gets expensive, and I'm like, I treat myself a lot that, oh, this is, but it is truth in
Yeah,
that.
because I'm
Like
a little bougie.
look, I come from, my parents have been married since 1986. Gosh,
Hmm.
only 37 years. I don't know. I can't do the math. Anyways, over 30 years, over 35 years. And I have seen the standard my dad has set for me. Now, I haven't always wanted that standard in a guy, but I know my husband, look, my dad did this for me. I expect that from you.
Right.
And I will always use this as an example because Lord knows I hate the dealership. Okay. I
Hmm.
like buying my car. I don't need you to buy my car. I can negotiate a deal. Okay.
Hmm.
I need you to take my car for maintenance. I need you to put the battery in it. I need you to go put gas in my car. I don't need, okay, let me put it like that. I can do it all myself, but it's just the standard of, oh, hey, babe, your car, your light's on. Let me go take that and get checked. That's what I want.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want to worry about those things as a woman. And
Right.
it's so old school to say, like, like, and I'm trying to break out of that feminist mindset of I can do it all on my own. Yes, I can do it all on my own.
Right.
But when I get to that moment and I have a husband who
Right.
can do it for me, I want him to do it for me
Right.
because
Right.
it's, I've gone back to the, let the man be the man of the household. Like I want a man who leads me. I don't
Yes.
want a man who I walk over,
Right.
like, and that has been the biggest thing God has like been teaching me is to like, Kayla, you can't do this all on your own. You
Right.
need other people in your life. You
Right.
need you need to
Right.
open up and be
Right.
able to say like, hey, I need help. And that is
Right.
okay. Needing help is okay.
It's
Can we say
okay.
it?
You know what?
Needing
That
help
reminds me of
is okay.
something. Two things Holy Spirit taught me: just because you can do something doesn't always mean you have to do it. It is okay to get help. And I know we live in a society that glorifies, individualism. You know what I mean? Look, that that is not healthy. We need each other. We need each other. It is okay to, and that, I mean, and that's the inevitable that comes with capitalism. Capitalism comes with neoliberalism. And no, that's not a political term. It doesn't mean liberal. What neoliberalism means, it means individualistic. Okay? We got this, we're conditioned this mindset of you got to do everything. You. It doesn't matter what external forces affect you. It's just going to be black and white. You. You know, that's not always healthy. Yeah, there are some times where, unfortunately, we're going to have to do things on our own that, I don't think we should be doing things on our own, but it's just like sometimes that's how, life
And
can fall. But it's like when there's opportunities to not do it on your own, it is okay to ask for help. You can't do it all on your own. You were never meant to do it all on your own,
and
you know?
that's where I was getting to. We were
Yeah.
never meant to do life alone. If you are a believer, if you are a Christian, you're never supposed to do anything alone.
Mhm.
Alone, like in the
I mean,
sense
well,
of,
even if you're not.
like you're supposed and where I'm going is like the Holy Spirit. You ask
Hmm.
the Holy Spirit to do things with you. You ask, like,
Yeah.
God, come with me. Like, it's like never, before you do something, it's like, Lord, would you come with me? Would you allow me to say the right things? Would you give me the wisdom, knowledge, power to do the right things? We're never meant to live life alone. And this goes for non-believers too. We were never to live life isolated and
Hmm.
secluded. And I think as a society, we have learned the effects of what living in isolation has done
Hmm.
because of COVID-19. We were
Right.
at the height of a mental health pandemic too, not only a
Right.
global pandemic, but it was a mental health
Mental health,
pandemic because
suicide rates
we
rose.
get it. Like, you're never meant to do life alone. And like, biblically speaking, Ecclesiastes 4:9, two are better than one because they
Three
have
or
a good
even.
reward for their efforts. For if either falls, his companion can lift him up, his friend can lift him up, his spouse can lift him up, Jesus can lift him up.
Hmm.
But pity the one who falls without another to lift him up. Also, if two lie down together, they can keep warm. But how can one person keep warm alone? This isn't saying go find a cuddle buddy now. Don't get it twisted. But it goes on to say, and if someone overpowers one person, two can resist him. A cord of
Hmm.
3 strands is not easily broken. And
Yes.
we often see that first, the last one I read, in the context of marriage. Yes, a cord of 3 strands isn't easily broken. It's me, my husband, and Jesus in the center.
Mm.
But in the context of friends,
Hmm.
2 friends can help lift me up when I'm down. I will be the first to say, my best friends through this season of life I've been in, they have been there. Kayla, like, don't let someone take your joy. Kayla, like, you got this. Like, the moment I told them I quit, we all had a praise party and started dancing and shouting because they saw that weight was lifted off of me.
Yes.
Some of the people in my community group were the first ones to say, hey, if you need anything, if you need a meal, if you need gas during this time, just call me. Like, I
Mm.
will help you out. My mom, when I told her and I made the decision on a Monday to quit, that I was going to do it, she was like, Kayla, like, you're unhappy, you're miserable, but if you need anything during this season, like, yeah, like, you might have savings, you might have all these things, but like, you have a mother and father who aren't going to let you fail. They're not going
Mm.
to let me suffer in silence, as my mom has coined that term. And you have a sister who can help you out. Like, you can do
Mm.
this. And
Yeah.
those were my mom and dad, my two, and then there was me. My sister and my mom, then there was me. My two best friends, there was me. I never did this alone. I never
Mm.
suffered alone because I had people who, when I was at my lowest, lifted me up,
Right.
prayed me through the situation.
Right. There goes that theme of season 2, the word support. The word support. I don't know. It just magically, like, almost every episode that I've recorded for season 2, which most of them are already finished. I think I
Glad
got
to know
like,
I'm one of the last.
hmm.
I was like, glad to know I'm one of the last. Are postponing.
Oh, stop it. It's true. That's funny. But yes, that theme of support, I just feel like someone listening, really needs to, hear, you know, look, things can get really bad if you try to do it on your own all the time. Like, let's just be honest. Like, I'm gonna just be honest because and maybe what, I'm gonna be honest. This is vulnerability time, and we come honest, we come effed up, we come at all. Um, I didn't. There was a situation with my mother that happened the day before I moved to Ball State University. So this was August 2022. Okay, and we got in an argument. I honestly, I don't even want to say it was an argument on my behalf. I was just trying to make sure, you know, I keep trying to explain and beg for my worth when it comes to her. Um, but after all the abuse that I mentioned that happened to me, you know what I mean? Because she tried to say, oh, none of that never happened. You never told me this, and that, at the end of the quote unquote argument, she said that she doesn't care. She didn't care about the abuse my dad did to me. She didn't care about the abuse my brother did to me. She didn't care about the abuse my family did to me. She didn't care about the abuse that she allowed to happen when she was right there multiple times. You know, um, and she ended the conversation saying she doesn't care. Now that rocked, like, it just felt like all the healing that I've done all those years, all the therapy, all the just self growth, self love journey, all the research, because I have to do research on mental health, and stuff like that. It just makes me feel like, okay, I'm not alone, because I'm not alone. But it seemed like all that pain that has been healed, it seemed like it just came crashing down really hard. It's like it all came back. You know what I mean? Um, and it was so much, Kayla. It was so complex, and I think she did it strategically because it was like I was so excited to go to my new grad school, which is where I'm at now, Ball State University. Love it. Um, I was so excited, and then once that conversation happened, boom, like I was rocked. I didn't know what to do. Everything was so complex. It was so much at once. I didn't know how to communicate it. And I'm a fan and I'm a big advocate for, talk it out to somebody. You got to speak about it. You got to communicate and express, hey, like this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. I
Yeah.
couldn't even go to therapy or even talk to friends about it because I did not know how to verbalize it. And there's a point that I'm going to make at the end of this. And in the month of, it was either the end of September or the beginning of October, I had a suicide attempt. And it that would have never happened if I knew how to verbalize everything. And I was so shocked that I was like, I don't know how to verbalize this. So I kept it in. You know, um, and so the point that I'm trying to make is um it can get really really bad if we don't if we try to do it on our own. It can get really
Yeah.
bad, even to the point of that. And I'm saying this because what if there's someone listening who is like me who can be hard-headed at times and just try to do it all on our own, because sometimes being extremely independent is a trauma response, which of
It-
course it has its pros and its cons. But, I don't want someone to have to be pushed to the absolute edge to finally, get it. To finally be
And
like, okay, it's time for me to not do it on my own. So maybe this story will help them be like, look, I don't want you don't if you don't have to go to that edge, to that cliff, you know, um, just avoid the unnecessary pain.
and I thank you for sharing that story because so many people like
Honestly.
there's healing in knowing you don't have to do things alone.
Yes.
And like I'm stubborn. I'm hard-headed. I am prideful. So for me, my way of like doing things on my I'm a strong independent woman. I don't need anyone. I can do it on my own. No. I can't do it on my own.
Right,
And I've
right.
learned I can't do it on my own because I'm going to fail if I was never meant to do this on my own. And like this season that I've been in, it's been, hey, mom, like I actually do need help. Like, can you buy my groceries? Can you, it's like, yeah, I've had a part-time job, but I also pay rent, I pay bills, like I have a
Right.
lifestyle. And like, yes, I've cut back my expenses, but it's also just because I cut back my expenses and I know I have a God who's going to provide, I also have to have the mindset of if I need to be humbled,
Right.
brought back to reality of Kayla, like just ask. I already know my mom at the very forefront of everything. My mom's gonna have my back. And like I'm blessed to say that because I know that's not everyone's situation. That's not everyone's relationship with their parents, but I'm blessed by that because that is one thing I had to learn is to ask for help. And I hated it. Trust me, I hate
Right. It's so uncomfortable.
especially when I've lived on my own for almost 2 years. Like I take pride in I've never asked you for rent. I've never asked you to pay my car note. I've never asked for help. I've done it by
Right.
myself. And I think that pride in me, the Lord needed to work on that in me because I needed to learn how to ask for help. And I'm thinking, what if whenever I have a kid and, I'm like, you know, handicapped for a few weeks after giving birth, like I can't care for a baby, cook food, be everything I want to be without asking for help from other people. Like sometimes you just have to let people love you. Sometimes you
Right.
just have to let people help you and
Yeah.
it's okay. And like
Right.
if you don't have a support system like I have, like if you don't have anyone, if you don't have community, if you don't have friends, if you aren't plugged into a local church, like if you don't have anything, there are resources out there still for you. There is
Right.
still help out there for you. BetterHelp, this isn't sponsored by them. They are a good online resource for therapy. They are, if you think, oh my gosh, therapy is just so expensive, like that's just a privilege. There are therapists who work on a sliding pay scale that will adjust their rates based on the income you bring in so you can
Mhm.
have access to mental health, whether it's free or reduced mental health. There are options out there for
Right.
you.
Something that you had mentioned, you know, when you said sometimes you have to let people love you. So I mean, sometimes you gotta let people love you. Sometimes you gotta reach out. You know, I am completely in agreement. I also want to add another thing to that is sometimes you gotta let yourself be a human. I know we live in a society, you know, um, that we unintentionally and are conditioned to dehumanize a lot of things. We need to humanize. Human never is meant to be here alone. We we're in the 21st century. Okay? We did not get this far as a human race. We did not get this far doing everything on our own. We needed each other. Sometimes,
But
and it's yeah, so it's just like we need to humanize more situations because it's like we're conditioned by media, by all these glorifications and stuff like that, and it kind of like sucks out the um that communal, You know what I mean? Humans are communal beings, and that's why there can be a lot of disorder mentally, physically, you know, because that was not a natural order to be so alone. You know what I
Right.
mean? We are communal
And
beings.
I know for me, I'm like one of the millennials that think
You're Gen
we're
Z, you're 25.
I am a millennial, okay? Calm
You were
down.
25. What year
I'm
were you
claiming
born?
I'm a millennial. I'm claiming I'm the young version of a millennial. I'm at
What
the
year were
very
you
end of it.
born?
We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the beginning. I'm about to be 26, okay? I am at the very end of being a millennial, the beginning of Gen Z, whatever.
1995 and up is Gen Z.
I don't claim it that way, but whatever. I'm a millennial, Gen Zer, whatever. Anyways, you made me lose my train of thought, but thank you. Thank you.
I was talking about communal
Okay,
beings.
I know where I was going with this. So before I was rudely interrupted about what generation I fall under, I was gonna say I'm one of the weird ones who think I actually don't like working from home. Like I rather get up every day, and maybe not every day, but most days, and put on actual work clothes, even though it looks like my normal weekend clothes, and go into an office. Because the idea of being isolated in my apartment every day of the week, mandatory to sit down at my desk and go through meetings, it sucks. It's
Right.
like training. Working from
Right.
home is not fun. Like, let's be real. I might be the outcast of you can work in your pajamas, you don't have to leave, you save money on gas. Yeah, you do. But
Right.
also,
At what
I'm not
cost?
productive. It costed me my mental health.
Yes.
It costed me my sanity. It cost friends. Like, just because you don't have that connection with your coworkers. Like, I think I might have been a little bit more happier at my old job had we actually been required to go into the office every day or like 3 times a week. Like when we were going it, because you saw the value in it. I don't
Right.
see the value sitting on a screen for 8 hours doing nothing. Like, okay, I wasn't doing nothing, but you get the
I know
point,
what you mean.
you know? And there's no separation of home and work. It's all the same thing. So that costed my mental because I was alone.
Yeah.
When you go into an office, you feel like you're a part of something. You feel like you bring value. You see
Right.
results. You see people behind this, like who they are behind in real life.
Right.
And I'm so thankful I'm now doing a job where I get to interact. Like, I'm so human minded. Like, I am a people person. Like, I can, with 100%, this might be morbid, but I know at my funeral, the one thing people will say is, Kayla never met a stranger. Like, she could talk to a tree. Like, I just know that is something about my character that I can't not speak.
Yes, you bring a light to a lot of people. You make people smile. You've
Well,
always been able to do that.
I'm honored, but that's just my personality. So for me, I know working from home, I'm good. I'll go to the office. I will
Right.
gladly drive into an office
Right.
because I see the value. And plus, then that means when I get to come home, I can flip that switch
Right.
and then I can decompress. Because yes, I am highly extroverted, but I like to be able to come home
Right.
and lay down on my
Recharge the
couch.
social battery.
Right. And you just don't get that when you're stuck to yourself, because then when you're stuck to yourself, when you work from home, when you're just isolated, when you're whatever by yourself, essentially, you don't have that switch. Like, you just think, oh, I've done it for so long by myself, I don't need people.
Right. Right. I completely agree.
Oh, good,
Mood.
glad to know I'm the only one.
No, I'm literally 1000% agreeing. I thought that was like, I thought that was normal. Like, I thought a lot of people, felt like that. But then when you mentioned it, I was like, that is a good point. Like, I have heard a lot of people saying, oh, I'd rather work from home. And I'm just like, how do you be able to do that? For like, there was like, for me, I was like, I need to develop a routine. There has to be some type of human interaction. Like,
Look, when
I'm
I
an
work from
introvert.
home,
I'm an introvert, but like I need, like, there has to be some type of human interaction. Like, doing it through a screen, that can only suffice for so long. You
Yeah.
know, that is not human interaction.
And I work better on a routine. So when I actually
Right.
have to get up because I have to be somewhere on it at a certain time, yes, like I'm gonna want to get up versus when I work from home, well, I don't have to commute. I just have to wake up, brush my teeth, and turn on a screen.
Right.
8:25, let me, let my alarm go off. Like there's no routine.
That last minute wake up, yeah.
Look, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, 8:30, cool, we're going.
Right.
I don't like it's just you become lazy and you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And like it's just so easy to feel blah all the time
Yeah.
because you don't have anything you see top up. So essentially, I can, maneuver my camera where you only see my head. Cool. I only have to do my hair. I can put a filter on and I can put a hat on. Don't even have to do my hair. Solves that problem. So you see how being by yourself and being secluded is so easy. It's such an easy way to lose yourself that we have to go back to starting to do things like, even if it's one day a week,
Yeah.
you start, let me just go work from a coffee shop. Let me just
Right.
look nice to go to the grocery store. Let me just do things that I used to do pre-pandemic that gave me life back then. Let me find my rhythm again.
I completely agree. You're speaking facts here. You're speaking the facts.
Well, since I'm speaking facts, millennial.
Oh, I was actually just about to. Anyways, folks. Anyways, the Queen Kayla will be back for season 3, which is coming out March 2024. So enjoy season 2 while it lasts.
So, in closing,
Kayla's Gen Z because 1995 and up. Kayla, do you want to seem older? Is that what you want? Good lord.
No, I just hear a bad rap about Gen Z, and I am not Gen Z. I'm a millennial. I am the youngest millennial. Okay.
That is true. That is true. Gen Z does have a very bad rap. I can't
Exactly,
even imagine
and I don't
how the
want to be
next
caught up in
generation.
that. Like I'm not. Okay, anyways, but in closing, like we strayed away from it, but we kind of kept on the same topic of just preparing yourself and just being who you are. So in closing, I just want to say, write down your plans. We're recording this at the beginning of 2023. So a lot of us are coming off of, New Year's resolutions, vision for 2023, and just who we want to be this year. And this releases in March, I believe. So since it's releasing in March, there's still time to get things in order. There's still time where you don't have to say this year is going to be a wash because, I fell off course. Like if you fell off course, just rewrite, your goals down from what you want to do, move forward. Like don't wait a whole nother year to try to be who you want it to be this year.
Right.
Because vision, you have to have a destination, but how are you going to get to your destination if you don't have a vision? And I think that for me, it's you have to know where you're going. You have to always realign, always do that maintenance on yourself to make sure you're still trying to work towards who you're becoming. And I leave you with the Bible verse, Proverbs 29:18. And it says, without revelation, people run wild, but one who follows divine instruction will be happy. And so without, vision, we're going to go crazy. But one who follows divine vision, divine instruction, he will be happy. Put whatever word it is, whatever version you have, whatever it is, whoever has vision, who writes their words down, who knows how to get to the plan, they will see the fruit of what they wanted. Right. So one day I'm proclaiming. So if this doesn't happen in 2023, we'll come back to this episode. But I'm proclaiming that God is going to bring me a faithful man.
Yes.
So, but in the meantime, I'm working on myself. I'm doing all the things that make me happy. I'm pouring into myself. I'm recharging myself. I'm dating myself. All the things. Yeah. Because I have a vision of who I want to be when I'm a wife. And I have to do those things before I'm a wife to get to that stage.
Right. Yes, Queen. Kayla, you're amazing. We thank you. We love you and we life you. And with that being said, if there is anyone listening today that has not been told that you are loved, please allow yourself to be the first. I will be the second.
I'll
I
be the
love
third.
you.
Love you.
Yes, I love you and I life you. I am so glad that y'all are still here on this earth. Thank y'all for being on this earth. Thank y'all for being born. Thank y'all for still breathing, even though many days have tried to take you out. I need y'all to know that you are so much more awesome than you think or may feel. With that being said, folks, this has been another episode of Vulnerability Time. Stay tuned for next week's bonus episode, which will actually pick up on the whole New Year's resolution type of mindset. It's going to be fire with special guest Lacey. Alrighty, folks. I will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Hey there, if you liked this episode, go ahead and buy my book on Amazon. What the book is called, type it on Amazon. It is Spoken by Trenton Epizon. Epizon is spelled Epizon. I really would appreciate the support. Give it a review, give it a buy, give it a try. And I promise you, you will not be upset at it. It is a poetry book. It is a very easy, quick read, and it definitely will give you some healing and some insight and some wisdom on abuse, mental health, recovery, the tragedy to triumph. You will love it. Give it a buy, give it a try, and recommend the book and this episode with others. Go ahead and give this podcast a follow and share it with others. You could be the reason that someone is alive tomorrow because you decided to share this episode today. This podcast is about saving lives, healing ourselves and others, and encouraging others and ourselves as well. Thank y'all so much for the support. Love y'all. I life y'all. I will see y'all next episode. You are valuable. You are beautiful. You are still on this earth because you have the strength. Thank you. Bye, folks.